Song Mia. Why am I, man? I do. I want to, and my voice goes up because I want to introduce a woman. I want to acknowledge the queen that is on the high table before I introduce this wonderful woman to this high table. I want to introduce to the house and invite Chief IQ Briggs to the high table. Chief IQ Briggs. The number one is Zoirin. It's Zoirin number one. I must get it right because I'll be in trouble. It's Zoirin number one. Welcome. I want to also call Chief Georgina Ngeriwa.
Is there money inside? There's no money in your bag. Represent us well.
Welcome, man. Welcome. Thank you. I love that smile. Can I also welcome?
I'll put this inside.
Can I also welcome?
I'm going to call our chief from now on.
Architect Amagbe.
That's the chief for you.
Kenzo.
The monkey fight.
I have our executive members that would be bringing the representative that will be sitting in for our governor to welcome. One of our respected sons who believes very much in the Ijaw affairs would be representing our governor today. He is Erasmus Patrick, Commissioner of Ijaw National Affairs. The Commissioner of Ijaw National Affairs. Quite rightly, as we are Ijaw Diaspora Council, he quite rightly represents the governor in this event. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. As we're running late, we're going to take off from here and go on to start the event. So we would start off by listening to the national anthem for both the United States of America and Nigeria. Can we start, as we're Nigerians first and Americans second? I mean, with my accent, you hear I'm from the United Kingdom, but I am standing in America, so we've got to give obey the laws of the land. So we start with the Nigerian item. Please rise. All rise, all man, Nigeria's humble name, to serve our fatherland with love and strength and faith. The name of our hero. Thank you. Can we have the national anthem for the United States of America?
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave, a land of the free and
Thank you so much. Thank you. As we start today, we would want to call one of our sons, who is a pastor in the room, to pray for us, for God to be with us as we go through the day and follow this event. Can I call on where is the last Onyi Deyefa you to give us a prayer for the day. Thank you. I want to apologize. Because I'm an Ijaw woman, I must pronounce his name correctly. I apologize to you if I didn't. Can you, if I pronounce it wrong, please tell me. You are Onyi Didake you. Onyi Didake you. It means look out to God before you cry. Wonderful. Welcome.
She tried. Father Wenceslas Yerindidaka, yo. Catholic Diaspora. With your permission, I wish to pray in the Ijaw language. Tamara, Oda, Yan, Bai Vitamin. Omana iklikan meri na miopar, meri mama mioma penibram. Omana iklikan meri mama ondo kokobram. Omana iklikan Nigeria kekle, Ijaw kekle, American logo TMI on kekle. Odinini, mioma miotu sidini. So I big your man. Man is on Diaspora Council, man. Nana warake, don't worry me. Ekia nana me beautiful. Now call me a man about Ben and Yago. I'm getting number out one. Make sure you me a dog on the program. I'm getting number out one another way. And they be more. If be I try, I come set with more. Jesus already done. Amen.
Bear with us. I will be calling on the chairman of the Convention Planning Committee to come and give us a welcome speech in a moment. But before I do that, I want to acknowledge Minister Esther Turner on the high table. She's an American professor who also has come to support us in achieving our mission. Esther Turner. I think I would have a slap to rest if I don't mention this wonderful, wonderful brother who has been around supporting us in organizing and ensuring that we meet all the protocols that we're meant to meet. He has been indeed a wonderful support to us. Professor Steve Azaki is on the high table. Thank you, thank you. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you. Let me call the chairman of the Convention Planning Committee to come and give us the welcome speech. And after that, we would have a small cultural dance group to welcome all of you, as well as our high table, before we have the presentation from the Investment and Trade Ministry from Bayelsa State. Ibinabo.
Good evening and welcome everybody. Yeah, my name is Princess Ibinabo Ogan Okachi. By the grace of God, I was appointed to chair this great convention in Newark, New Jersey. 6 small me from Africa that live in Canada. I welcome you all. First of all, before I start my speech, I would like to welcome the representative of the Government House, Bayelsa State. Yeah, the person of, I don't know if he's a chief, Honorable Erasmus I.J. Patrick, Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of the Job, National Affairs. Welcome, sir. And I welcome His Royal Majesty, that's my father's very good friend, Chief S.P. Jordan's, King S.P. Jordan's very good friend and son. King, Jetterspiff, right? Yeah. King Jetterspiff, and his beautiful wife. You're welcome, sir. And I welcome Ambassador Ben B.N. Okoya. He's not here, but I thank him very well. I welcome everybody here, and I welcome my big auntie, Chief Ankiu, who is here too. Welcome, auntie. I welcome you. Professor Mondigo Selego, the great man. This is the president of Ijaw Diaspora. I don't know what to say about him, but he is such a great man. The best president I have ever seen, honestly. Welcome, sir, and thank you for helping us to put on this. You're welcome. Professor Steve Azaki, member of House of Representatives. I welcome you, sir. Honorable Dr. Fred Agbedi, member of House of Representatives. I welcome you, sir. I welcome every lady here. The distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you all. On behalf of the Convention Planning Committee, I am so happy to welcome you all to the 2022 Ijaw Diaspora Council IDC Convention, which is taking place under the leadership of our president, I said, Professor Moni Selego, and the members of the Board of Directors. IDC is a global organization with headquarters here in the United States of America. The organization is committed to the full recognition and actualization of the rights and legacies of the leaders, freedom fighters, nationalists, and minority rights, activists of the Ijaw ethnic nationality. Sorry, if you don't have the speech, I think we have them in another program too, in the programs here. We are all here today for this convention to celebrate the individual and opportunity achievements of the Ijaw people. We will therefore use this opportunity to articulate a collective quest for a new dawn of enhanced, purpose-driven political engagements, economic prosperity, and social justice in our dear Ijaw nation of Nigeria. In the course of planning this August occasion, we received immense support from our royal fathers and other traditional rulers, and a plethora of Ijaw intelligentsia comprising professionals, worldwide politicians, and opinion leaders of Ijaw descent provided us guidance and support. We therefore have no doubts in our minds that our set goals for this event will be duly realized. Please permit me to say a very big thank you to you all, and to a dear brother, I don't know if he's here, Waris Senebo, Ezekiel Iwari. Waris Senebo, the Opuwari Senebo of Iwari means Walking House in Africa. He is the chairperson, the head of hospitality in this committee. He's a great son of Africa. I thank him so much. The galaxy of personalities gracing this occasion today, from the royal fathers, oh my God, who are the natural custodians of the culture and tradition of the Ijaw people, to the professionals of the vice fields of human endeavor, captains of industries, politicians, and great leaders, and thoughts. It is a great testament to the wide acceptance and endorsement of this initiative by all. Our committee has put together a comprehensive program for the 3-day event. The program is deliberately designed to showcase the pride and pageantry of the Ijaw people, our way of life, our struggles and contributions in the building and development of not just the Ijaw land, but also the Nigerian nation. It is our desire that our guests will not only be delighted by our presentation, but also get a deeper understanding of the Ijaw people and what drives them. In addition, as a commemorative tribute, the program shall feature special recognitions and presentations of awards to the great men, women, forebears of the Ijaw nation for their past and present strides and contributions in nation building. As part of the program, we have a symposium and panel discussions. We employ you all to play very active and contributory roles in all of these as we collectively strive towards the full realization of the goals and objectives of this convention. At this juncture, I want to invite you all to please relax, enjoy, and participate in what promises to be a very engaging, illuminating, insightful, and entertaining 3-day event. Thank you all. God bless you. We love you. God bless the Ijaw nation. Chairperson, thank you.
Thank you, Ibinabo, thank you. Can we have the cultural group coming to entertain us, display a culture? Ijaw nation is a big, big nation. And we have cultures, different cultures from different parts of Ijaw nation. We're culture rich. The wonderful, wonderful culture of women dressing up and celebrating the Ijaw tradition would be displayed in a few minutes. Our convention planning committee chair would be leading this group. It won't take long, it will just take a few minutes, and then we would move on to our presentation. But before we do that, I just want to acknowledge the executive committee that has made this possible. After the presentation,
to say thank you to them for all the hard work to put this together. Thank you. Area boy. Emi na pa ma ngi no mi. Ijaw emi na pa ma ngi no mi. Aona ka area boy. Area puma. Nyop in somewhere. We have beautiful area boys here. The Ijaw women are very beautiful women. In fact, the Ijaw men shouldn't look outside for any wife. It's a picture I married an Igbo man. Me that is funny is married to an Igbo man. But please, a young Ijaw man shouldn't look out, please. We're here to welcome them. We are the second last hour. As is when they're coming in.
You
very much. Beautiful Ijaw women. Beautiful Ijaw queens. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very nice. Very nice.
Wasn't that wonderful? I've never seen that before. That was fantastic. Just the dressing, the time taken to display this. How wonderful! Thank you. And one of them was even not born in Nigeria, and she did it so well. Well done. Well done. Thank you. Please give them a hand of applause. Thank you. Now we would go into the business segment of today, which is really one of our main focus in IDC. We are a non-profit making organization, and we, the Ijaws who has been in the diaspora for a very long time, feel that we want to transfer the knowledge and skills and experience we've built in working in the United States, United Kingdom, Australia, all over the world, and contribute to the development of our people back in Nigeria. And we in the Ijaw Diaspora Council feel that we have a catalogue of professionals that have been in our systems and have worked within the system and have made America great and has made the United Kingdom great. It's contributed to the economy and investment in Australia and all over the world. And we now feel that we want to put our professional skills together and work with our colleagues back home to see what we can contribute to the investment and economic development of our people. Today we have a team from Bayelsa that would be presenting some investment development in Bayelsa, investment opportunities, and identify areas that they feel that they can work with IDC with, and areas that they feel that they want support from us. Identify those areas. And I was speaking to, I think it was the permanent secretary or one of the presenters yesterday, and she said, it's not just even about IDC, it's about anyone that is in this room that feels passionate about humanity, that wants to support Africa, but specifically the Ijaw Nation, should please approach them after the presentation for investment opportunities. We are in the oil-rich Niger Delta. Hands of applause. So there are lots of opportunities in Bayelsa State. Welcome to my brothers and sisters. We're very pleased to have you here. We're happy that you're here to do this presentation. I stand to be corrected. There are protocols in Nigeria that must be observed. So shall I say, all protocols observed, I would like to ask the governor's representative to make a speech before the presentation. Thank you.
Eyes on.
Yeah.
Eyes on. Is that coming you? His Royal Majesty, our revered King, and our Queen, the President of IDC, the Secretary of State in New Jersey, Professor Azeki of the House of Reps, and his colleague, counterpart of House of Reps, Honorable Fred Agbedi,
I wish to, on behalf of His Excellency, the Executive Governor, who has sent his apology because of some other duties that have occupied his time this hour, wish this gathering a warm welcome. His Excellency would have loved to be here personally this morning, but for other duties that took his attention. However, he'll be here with us live this evening. Bayelsa State, like you all know, is one of the 36 states in the Federal Republic of Nigeria, in the south-south region of Nigeria. Oil was first struck in Bayelsa State at Oloibiri in the 50s. And ever since, Bayelsa has been in reckoning in Nigeria. Indeed, what sustains Nigeria today largely comes from the state of Bayelsa. His Excellency, the Miracle Governor of Bayelsa State, on assumption of office, had to build on the achievements of his predecessors, and he has remained focused ever since. Bayelsa State is one of the safest states in the country for now. Yes, you may have heard of insecurity all over the country, but he has invested a lot of resources to bring about relative peace in the state. So for investors, you shouldn't entertain fear coming to Bayelsa to invest. One of the things he did on assumption of office was to make functional the Bayelsa International Airport, which his predecessor, Right Honorable Henry Serake Dixon, Distinguished Senator Serake Dixon, started on assumption of office in February 2020. He made that functional. So we have an airport in Bayelsa State now that can drive this process. So we are glad as Ijaw people to identify, and Bayelsa State, like you all know, is home for all Ijaw people. You are aware that the Ijaw nation is unjustly organized into 6 states of Nigeria, with Bayelsa as the only homogeneous Ijaw state. And so Bayelsa State is home for all Ijaw people on the surface of the earth. And this statement finds expression in me, because me standing here, I'm from River State, Andoni precisely, but I'm Commissioner for Ijaw National Affairs in Bayelsa State. Courtesy His Excellency, Distinguished Senator Doayediri. So, those of you in the diaspora, especially if you're Ijaws, and like we also say, every good person is a Bayelsa. You are welcome. You have a place in Bayelsa State. Please come around and invest in Bayelsa State. I want to dive into our culture. We've seen the beautiful display by our women here, and that's what binds us together as Ijaw people. The culture of the Ijaw people is seen everywhere. Our people in Ondo, in Arogbe, in Ondo State, up to Akwa Ibom, the Benos, the Eastern Obolos in Akwa Ibom, those in Delta, Edo, Rivers, we have same cultural things. And when we come up to display, we fit in. So Bayelsa State is very endowed with not just the human and capital resources, but also the cultural things that we find. We are vast in oil and gas. We are very, very vast. And from records, the gas deposit in Bayelsa State is far more than the oil, which is fast wearing out. So we've come to introduce Bayelsa State to you. Feel free, come and invest in Bayelsa State. You are welcome any day, any time. Since our arrival here, we've gone to a few places to project the state. And that's why we are here today, to tell you that you have a place in Bayelsa State. And as you come, you are welcome. In April last year, my ministry made a presentation to council because our language is fast going to extinction, to make sure that our children, not just those at home, but even those abroad, those in the diaspora, do not live speaking the Ijaw language. And so council gave approval for the compulsory teaching and learning of Ijaw language in all our schools, public schools. That project is on, and by the beginning of next school year, all the teachers trained so far from our NDU would have been deployed to start this project in all our public schools. More teachers are also being recruited. We are doing this so that our language does not go into extinction. Thank God for the Bayelsa State government that had also supported that with the law of the states, which was passed in 2018. So we are very hopeful that the state of Bayelsa would provide very safe opportunities for all our investors. You'll hear more from our permanent secretary, Minister of Trade and Investment, who would expand more on the opportunities that abound in Bayelsa State. Indeed, we are a blessed state. We are small, but we are qualitative. We are blessed. We are endowed. You are all welcome to Bayelsa State. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Commissioner. Thank you very much. We're going to have a slight change. The mayor of New Jersey, that is Mayor Ross Baraka, is being represented by his deputy, Mayor Ligas De Freitas. She wants to make a proclamation to the Bayelsa State, to the governor of Bayelsa State. After that, then we then call the investment team to come on. Just a brief change. Deputy Mayor, thank you.
Good afternoon. Sorry to change your program, but today is the inaugural ceremony for the mayor and all the council people. So we started a new administration today, and we have the gala tonight, where I'm responsible for the dinner gala for 500 people. So they've been bombarding me with the text message. Unfortunately, they told me to be here at 11:30, and I changed my schedule to be here on behalf of the mayor because I did have a privilege to meet Senator, Governor at the lunch we have with the delegation and Sir Commissioner 2 days ago in work, but we could not let it go without the mayor to give a proclamation to the governor. Being consideration is not here, I would like to read it, and after that present it to the commissioner. Is the one is represented through the protocol, is the one gotta take it on behalf of the mayor to the senator, governor. It's a very honor for me as a deputy mayor, and part of my job is diaspora. Actually, one of my assistants is Nigerian. They're in the city hall, and as an African I am, so a lot of people think that they look at me like you Dominican or you Brazilian, but I'm from Cabo Verde, what is the 10 islands in the middle of the Atlantic, near to Senegal, was a colony from Portugal, and we speak Creole, French, and Portuguese. And I'm very proud all the time to say to the people, no, I'm African. Don't mix things. And we should be, because we're full of culture and food and dance. So let we continue the diaspora and let we continue to invest back home, because that's the reason we are here as an immigrant, please. So I'm going to read the proclamation quickly. So I don't know if I'm going to say the name of Governor correctly, but my apologies for now. Diri was born in Bayelsa State, Nigeria on June 4th, 1959. He attended the College of Education in Port Harcourt, receiving his Nigerian Certificate of Education in 1985, and gained his bachelor's degree in education for the University of Port Harcourt in 1999. And Diri began his teaching career at several schools in the Old River State. He served as a member of government position in Bayelsa State, including as Commissioner for Youth and Sports, Governing Council Board member of University of Maiduguri, if I say correct, and the first National Organization Secretary of Ijaw National Congress, the leading organization of Ijaw Nation. And Diri served as the Deputy Chief of Staff and Principal Executive Secretary in Government House until 2014, when he successfully ran for the Federal House Representative for presenting Pokuma and Inagoa Federal Constituency. Pardon again. While in the legislature, his main issue were environment and communication. He was elected Bayelsa State Governor in 1999. And Diri is one of Nigeria's great leaders, public official, advocate, activist, and role model in many roles. He has worked to support and advance his people and address their needs. He is an inspiration to Nigeria and the entire Nigerian diaspora. And as a mayor, Mayor Ras Baraka, on behalf as a mayor the Newark, I salute Diri for his outstanding service and leadership, and his honoree today at the Ijaw Diaspora Convention today at Crown Plaza Hotel, and with him joining as successful his future endeavors. Now, therefore, I, Ras J. Baraka, Mayor of City Newark, New Jersey, I hereby recognize Diri, and I urge all residents, employees, and visitors in the city of Newark to join me in this special tribute on Diri. Signed, Ras J. Baraka. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. I'm sure that the representative of the governor would want to say a special thank you to you for the participation, the acknowledgement of the need for us Africans to go back home and invest in our beautiful continent.
Your Excellencies, the Mayor, what an honor, what a privilege to be so honored by you. Please accept the sincere appreciation of His Excellency. Convey this to him that we are deeply touched by this honor. we shall take this message back. And like we interacted before, we shall continue to have this close working relationship. We look forward to a robust relationship with the city and the mayor himself and the entire state of New Jersey. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Deputy Mayor. Can I just say, I was just speaking to my brothers and sisters from Bielsa. I know that the Deputy Mayor is about to leave us, but they're asking if you would be kind enough to stay with us to watch a cultural video, which they would like you to see. We do honestly appreciate the support that the City of Newark is showing to the Ijaw Nation. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Majesties, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My name is Patience Renami Abba, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Investment, Bayelsa State. I also double as the Director General of the Bayelsa Investment Promotion Agency. And it is my immense pleasure to be here with all of us this afternoon to give you a brief presentation on the business and investment potentials that Bayelsa State holds. But before I get into that, there's a very brief video called Amazing Bayelsa. It's actually a greeting from His Excellency the Governor, who unfortunately is not able to be here at this moment, but he will join us later on. It's a very short video called Amazing Bayelsa, and there he himself has a message to deliver to all of us and to investors who are present. Thank you.
Bayelsa is located in the southern part of Nigeria. Core oil and gas belt, also known as the Niger Delta. Its capital is Ijaw City. We are blessed with a long and beautiful coastline, indeed the longest in our country. With serene beaches and exotic vegetation, the people are warm and hospitable, with a rich history and incredible culture. My name is Senator Ijaw Diaspora, Governor of Bayelsa State. It gives me a special pleasure to introduce to you what I can sincerely describe as an opportunity of a lifetime to come, invest into Bayelsa. Our administration in Bayelsa has been tagged as the government. It is not mere wishful thinking. We know that investment is key to attaining those lofty socio-economic goals. Without it, we cannot generate the employment opportunities that will sustain our youth or alleviate the poverty that still challenges significant numbers of our people. But we are not inviting you to a pity party. We are taking the necessary steps with our strategic state development plan, integrating the private sector in its development and growth agenda by improving the business environment and ensuring that the structures and policies are competitive in tandem with international best practice. And in this regard, we have strengthened our internal security outreach operation Door Aqua. These actions have already put Bayelsa in a positive trajectory. Our state produces about a third of the country's crude oil needs, as well as having the largest deposits of gas in the country waiting to be tapped. There is, however, much more to Bayelsa than its abundant oil and gas deposits, which have the potential to drive economic growth and diversification. These include, but are not limited to, agriculture and aquaculture, where our arable land gives us comparative advantage in the production of rice, cassava, sugarcane, palm trees, and plantain. In the area of tourism, with our lush mangrove forests and natural beaches, we have humongous unexploited opportunities to make the state a tourist paradise. Aside gas and sprawling coastline offers vast opportunities and possibilities for power generation ranging from wind to tidal and solar energy. The Logistics Hub Initiative looks to leverage on the state's prime location for the transshipment of goods and services from the southern manufacturing corridor through the Bayelsa International Cargo Airport, as well as the conceptualized Agay deep sea port, that's the accompanying export-free zone. In the past few weeks, during the second anniversary of our government, we inaugurated some transformational projects. Similarly, we have initiated the construction of the equally economically strategic Nimbe Brass Road, which leads to Nigeria's Ijaw Oil Company crude export terminal in Brass, as well as the Brass fertilizer, Brass liquefied natural gas projects that are under construction. In spite of these modest strides, we still have a significant infrastructure deficit, and it is our hope that investors will see the value to partner with us to concession some of these projects to expand the scope of our development. Beyond the numerous incentives we are contemplating, you can also be assured of my personal commitment and willingness of my government to listen and consider your suggestions about what you would wish the government to do to make us even more attractive. A famous African proverb says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. We are therefore looking forward to welcoming and embracing genuine investors from all parts of the world to complement our local investors. This is a warm invitation to you all to come to our amazing state of Bayelsa and let us go far together. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much. I think His Excellency has actually made my job much easier in providing that excellent overview of the opportunities that Bayelsa State holds. The projector operators, thank you, that's the right presentation. Now, our presentation is entitled The Bayelsa Advantage in a Global Post-COVID COVID Economy. And that is a very deliberate choice. We have all learned a lot of lessons as a result of the COVID pandemic. We have seen a huge reshoring trend and people and companies, nations beginning to really look inwards for supplies and investment. And we in Bayelsa State are not behaving in any way that's different from that. We believe, and I'm so happy that we're making this presentation, it's a mixed audience. We have a few foreign investors here, but we have largely people from the diaspora. For sustainable and meaningful development, that must begin from within. It doesn't begin from without. And so, as the governor said, we do invite you all to take a very serious look at the opportunities that will be presented here and think about how you can invest back home. You know, the chief marketer of our potentials as Ijaw people, we are the chief marketers, not other people. So each one of us here should be the chief marketer of the immense potentials that abound across the Niger Delta. And so here, I'm going to showcase what Bayelsa State has to offer accordingly. Okay, can we go to the first slide, please? Now, some people might not even know much about Bayelsa. Some people were born outside of Africa and may not really know much. So this first slide just gives you a little summary of some key statistics about Bayelsa State. As was mentioned earlier, we do have the longest coastline in Nigeria. It's over 180 kilometers. We have a small population, about 2.7 million. And our land area is almost 11,000 square meters, most of which is actually covered by water, about 70% water and 30% land. So it's very much a marine environment, as many other parts of the Niger Delta are. We are host to one of the most important wetlands, the Apoi Creek wetlands, which is a Ramsar recognized wetland of international importance, which means it's recognized as a unique wetland of international importance. Okay, next slide, please. Now, in terms of business and investment, this information I think would be very useful to guide us. Why should one even consider Bayelsa as an investment destination? Well, in terms of ease of doing business, Bayelsa was ranked first among the South-South states in the subnational ease of doing business index of the World Bank in 2018. That's the most recent one that we have. And following that, more recently in 2021, Bayelsa was ranked 10th overall by PEBEC, which is the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, when they did a local doing business subnational survey in 2021. In terms of investment commitment, Bayelsa State continues to attract very good investment commitments. As announced by the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, Bayelsa was ranked second by the NIPC with a total of $3.6 billion out of investment commitment announcements made in 2021. In terms of transparency and accountability, we do run a very transparent and accountable government backed by several laws. Okay, next slide, please. Now, for any investor, security is key. Security of your investment, security of your personnel, security of your infrastructure, security of yourself is absolutely critical. Bayelsa State actually is on record as having one of the lowest crime rates in the nation. According to the NBS, that's the National Bureau of Statistics records, Bayelsa records only about contributes only about 1.14% of total reported crime cases nationally. So it is one of the safest states in the country. Bayelsa also hosts 3 defense bases: the Naval Base, the Air Force Tactical Command, and Joint Task Force on Security. But we haven't left it at that, because this is something that has to be very vigilantly maintained and even deepened. So in late 2021, the local state security outfit, which is called DOABO, there was a relaunch of that operation in late December of 2021, during which 50 brand new operational vehicles, 40 security motorbikes, and other security gadgets were commissioned. And even more importantly, the Bayelsa State Community Safety Corps law was signed. That law came into being in December of 2021. It's a law that streamlines the operations of the state security outfit and other special outfits, including the Bayelsa Volunteers, the Bayelsa Vigilante Group, all under one umbrella. Basically, what this does is that it gets the communities involved in security. Security really is local. You know, the federal operatives cannot effectively do their jobs if they're not working well at the community level and the community providing much needed security information to them. So in Bayelsa State, we have tried to tackle that by having this Bayelsa Community Safety Corps law. Now, I think I'll skip the oil and gas facts. Almost everybody knows that Bayelsa State is literally the home of oil and gas in Nigeria, as oil was first discovered in commercial quantities in Otuabagi, Oloibiri in Bayelsa State. But Bayelsa State actually holds the largest gas reserves in Nigeria, exceeding 40% of Nigeria's 209 trillion cubic feet of proven gas reserves. We are in an era where everyone is talking about clean energy and transiting away from oil. But we all know we can't immediately jump away from oil to other forms of energy. So Bayelsa State holds a very enviable position with its huge gas deposits, where gas can be used as transition fuel for so many things in the gas value chain. For power generation, very key to Nigeria, very key to industry, for LNG, for CNG, for all forms of gas monetization and any type of industry that requires gas as feedstock, fertilizers, what have you. There's a huge range of them. Okay, so in our next slide, you'll see our gas utilization policy. It's something that we're taking very seriously indeed, to fully industrialize the state based on gas, to combat climate change and create a sustainable environment by reducing the flaring of gas and utilizing flared gas for industry. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this shows us the gas value chain. There's so many different areas there that are quite profitable: power generation, gas processing, as I said earlier, fertilizer, petrochemicals, gas marketing and distribution, auto gas. There are a number of nations, including Ghana, I'm told, that has a huge percentage of vehicles that actually run on gas, not on petrol, you know. And this is something that we're really working hard to emulate. As many of us here may know, earlier this year, the federal government declared this to be the decade of gas. So for us, we really think it's the decade of Bielsa, you know, trying to ensure that gas is used more domestically. In the past, in Nigeria, what we've always done is export gas out. We don't, except for cooking oil. You know, we don't really apply gas to domestic uses, and that has to change, and we believe that that can start in Bielsa State. We have a lot of partnership opportunities in the natural gas sector. We have our own incorporated Bielsa Oil Company. There's the Brass Fertilizer Company. That's a private initiative, but which our own government is taking up a stake in a place called Brass. And there's the Bielsa Power Hub, which is under development, and also the Bahrain Industrial Park. The Bahrain Industrial Park is very important because it is just literally a stone's throw away from the Shell Petroleum Development Company's gas gathering facility. They gather that facility, I think something about 1.2 trillion scf of gas in a day. I believe it's the largest investment in Africa. And this industrial park is just within a kilometer away from that gas gathering facility, which means access to gas for power and all sorts of other critical needs would not be an issue at all. And for if there's anyone here in the industry that knows, what adds a lot to your cost is the distance from which you have to pipe gas. If you have to run gas lines for miles and miles, you are adding a lot to your cost. But if it's just a short distance, you can imagine the tremendous cost savings that that affords you. So if you're thinking of doing business in the gas sector, there is no better place to be than Bielsa State. Now, on the next slide, I'm just going to share with us a little bit of our economic fundamentals. So we have a GSP of about $4.8 billion. This one is interesting. We're ranked 7th on something called Index C. It's a ranking of states that's done annually. Basically, that shows that we're one of the least indebted states in the country, which means we have more room to borrow if we need to for projects and for investment. On the next slide, you'll see some of our, what we like to call our investment portfolio, showing you some of the businesses that already exist in Bielsa State. You know, like attracts like. Investors feel more comfortable when they feel that other investors have gone before them. They feel comfortable and assured that the environment will be conducive and favorable for them. So some of the things that we do have our own airport, which was established by the previous administration but brought into full operation under our current governor, Senator Ijaw Diaspora. We have 3 designated free trade zones, which is very important now, especially now that we are in the era of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. This means that if anyone is thinking of doing business in Bielsa State, the market has opened not just to Nigeria, but to the whole of Africa. That's something that one should really keep in mind, because according to the World Bank now, that becomes the largest free trade area in the entire world. So we'll go to the next slide. Okay, this just says a little bit about the model that we apply in a partnership strategy to conceive projects, evaluate them, develop, implement, and then commission, all hand in hand with development partners applying a PPP model. So, and this shows you above some of our priority sectors, which we're very happy to discuss with any prospective investors. Agriculture, natural gas I've spoken about. There's also a deep sea port, which is to be developed in a place called Agay. The beauty of that seaport is that it's naturally deep, with a natural draft of about 14 meters, without any dredging. What this means is that, and that's a natural depth, so you don't have to keep dredging to maintain that depth, and that is absolutely key. We have huge potentials in tourism, especially ecotourism, cultural tourism, and with a wonderful 180-kilometer coastline, you can just imagine the potentials of that for resorts, for marine recreation, and what have you. So the potentials really are huge. So on the next slide, you'll see a little bit more information about the industrial park that I mentioned earlier. It's actually in the operational phase is expected to generate and attract over $1 billion worth of investments. At this industrial park, we aim to blend harmoniously opportunities for a variety of gas monetization areas. I believe I've mentioned that earlier, so we will skip to the next slide. Well, on the next slide, it just emphasizes that it's proposed to be a one-stop location with infrastructure providing, it's what is described as in-fence infrastructure. So it's a site and services scheme. You have everything in one area, waste management, you have all the roads, you have warehousing, and what have you. We are discussing with Afrexim Bank on that and working to partner with them to come up with that infrastructure. And again, a very important point, it's only about a 15-minute drive from the Bielsa International Airport. That's very, very key. When you're thinking about how you're going to move your products in and out, it's also in an area where there's a very good road network, so that's also important to keep in mind. Now, the next slide, a little bit more information about the Age Deep Sea Port, which I mentioned. The natural ocean draft is there. It's set on about 7,500 acres of land, but to be expanded to 10,000. The value of the project is about $3 billion. And also is designated as a free trade zone. Now, this is ideally located in the Gulf of Guinea. As I mentioned earlier, now we're thinking beyond Nigeria to the entire continent because of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. So the deep sea port, we feel, is really going to give Bielsa State an advantage as a transshipment port, not just for West Africa, but the entire Gulf of Guinea and beyond. On the next slide, we're talking about the Bielsa International Airport. The beauty of this airport is it's not just an airport for passenger movement. It's designed, conceived as a 1,400-hectare free trade zone to be a future hub for aviation services and a lot of fantastic opportunities such as aircraft maintenance services, shopping hubs, warehousing services, hospitality services, cargo, and most importantly, agriculture manufacturing. The idea is to set up greenhouses all around in that area such that you are growing and harvesting your products and you can ship them out at the freshest point, without any spoilage, and that gives a huge, huge advantage. So you're not having to cart your agricultural products for miles and miles, risking spoilage and waste along the way. Renewable energy. We'll see that on the next slide. Recall I mentioned earlier about our coastline, 180 kilometers long. The value of that is not just in terms of deep sea fishing or recreation. Many of us will realize as you as you land into a lot of countries in the world, especially in Europe, you will see huge banks and banks of wind farms, right, on the ocean as you land. And this is our dream as well. If that can happen elsewhere, why can it not be replicated in Bielsa? So that we can now have very clean wind-driven energy. Tidal energy is another possibility with our huge access to the Atlantic Ocean. So this provides us an opportunity to fill Nigeria's electricity generation gap using wind energy, tidal energy, also floating solar farms. That's another advantage because, if you're going to create large solar farms, typically it takes up a lot of land. But so one option is to move it out to the ocean, and that way you can accomplish the goal and preserve your much needed land for agriculture and other uses. Okay. Blue economy, very, very important to Ijaw people. As I mentioned before, Bielsa State is about 70% water. So that just tells you what exactly could be expected. Everything that has to do with the maritime economy. Shipbuilding, deep sea fishing, offshore aquaculture, floating cage farming, so many options. Bielsa State only just recently, perhaps about 2 weeks or not more than 3 weeks ago, signed an agreement with an EU consortium to put together an SPV known as BGGF. That's the Bielsa Gulf of Guinea Fisheries Project. And what that project will enable us to do is set up shipbuilding facilities, other types of marine vessels, smaller boats, aquaculture, and training of our youth, 2,500 of our youth who are going to be trained and then employed to carry out what the trade that they have learned within this project. And then they also get EU licensing, so which means that if they're not working on the project in Bielsa, they can take that valuable license and find work out anywhere in the EU. So we're very proud of that achievement indeed. ICT. We've been through several industrial revolutions, and for our part of the world, sadly, we have been onlookers in a lot of these things. The best we have done is being a source of raw materials, and that has to change. Now when the latest revolution, which is based on innovation and artificial intelligence, so we have to ask ourselves a very key question. Are we going to continue to be onlookers, or are we going to become drivers of this new revolution? That cannot happen without deepening the ICT sector. In Bielsa State, we have 2 tech hubs, which are basically creates a community where young people can discover innovation, discover the skills they have, and learn skills in that area, so that they can develop homegrown solutions for us, and also solutions that can be exported to the rest of the world. This is actually very important in terms of agriculture, so that we can make smarter decisions in terms of the way that we plant our crops, and knowing the optimum time to harvest, and also to monitor the agricultural produce. Now, eco-cultural tourism is huge. These days, you know, the whole attraction of just staying in some glittering hotel, I think, is pretty much past. You know, people find that very boring. These days, people want an experience. They want eco-tourism. They want an experience that they can go back and tell their friends, oh, I experienced something that you've never seen before. I tasted food that you've never had before. I participated in festivals and cultural expeditions and what have you. And this is what we are trying to drive in Bielsa State as well. We have huge, so many festivals happening around across the year. And we have beautiful beaches. I don't know, I'm sure people here who are from Bielsa will know about Akasa, and will know about the beaches in Brass, Okoma, and places like that, at Agay, and other places. Now, earlier when the Commissioner spoke, the Honorable Commissioner spoke, he mentioned about a wonderful new project that has been flagged off, building a road from Nembe to Brass. What that means, it's not just getting across to Brass, it means opening up tremendous opportunities for what people can access in that area, which they never could have been able to do before, in terms of culture and the heritage sites that are there. Some people may have heard of the White Man's Grave, you know, when the Europeans first came to that part of the world, where they landed, and some altercations that happened with the Nembe Kingdom. And it's absolutely historic. And those, a lot of that natural infrastructure is still there. People need to see that to really appreciate the culture and things that have happened. So we're seeking partners for hospitality, hotel and resort development in all of those areas. And we welcome you all to consider that. Now, pretty much done. What's happened to the next slide? Well, there was a slide that's a message is supposed to be from the governor, basically emphasizing again his unequivocal commitment to forge effective, there it is, and enduring partnerships with critical stakeholders in all areas for the ultimate development of Bielsa State. So I do thank you very much for listening. Ado, Onoa, Aloha. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention, actually, We have a little exhibition stand outside there with information on everything I've just spoken about. If you don't want printed copies, and the printed copies are not enough, there's a QR code on the table. And I think we're going to put some on all of the tables here. If you scan that code, all the materials that support what I've just mentioned, various brochures, what have you, feasibility studies, you can get access to those on any device that you have, your phone or tablet or computer or whatever. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Actually, I didn't know so much about Bayelsa until now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Do anyone in the room have questions that they want to ask? I'm happy for people to put through your questions. I'll bring the ear to you so you can ask our sister here some questions. Otherwise, at the stand that is outside, the representatives from Bayelsa that you can talk to if you're interested in some of the areas. I shouldn't say if you're interested, it'd be good if we're interested, so we can talk a bit more and get a bit more information. I can see a few hands up. Can I just, yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Alali Tamuno. All protocols duly observed. I do have a question. You did speak about the environment generally, and I am a little concerned about contamination in the Niger Delta generally, but in Bayelsa State. What is the state doing specifically, one, to prevent contamination, whether it's from oil and gas or other hazardous substances? And where you have contaminated land, groundwater, what are you doing to remediate it? Two, what are you doing to find the potentially responsible parties and hold them accountable for the contamination? So I'm more concerned with development is good, but without environmental sustainability, you really will not go very far with development. So what is Bayelsa State doing to address the contamination in the state? Thank you very much.
Thank you. It sounds like a really deep dive question. Knowing environmentalists and their concerns in relation to the pollution and the impact that has in the development of anywhere in the world, can I suggest that you speak to my colleagues outside of the room to get those detailed answers. However, what I want to say is, in the 21st century, every development must be systemic, it must be holistic, so we must incorporate all our concerns in the time today for the world, for our children tomorrow. So I'm very pleased that you asked the question. She will quickly answer your question, but what I would suggest is, because of time, for people to go to the stand up there and speak to her a bit more. Thank you.
Okay, well, I can speak to you on greater detail after now, but just know that we're very much alive to this. In fact, Bayelsa State put together its own oil commission under the previous administration, under the former Governor Henry Seraki Dixon. The report of that commission, I have a copy of that, which actually I can share, was, I believe, launched during the previous COP in Glasgow. There was a side event where that report was discussed. So it's something that we're taking very seriously, especially when we're talking about the marine, the blue economy. You know, we don't want to be sabotaged before it even starts. You know, so it's very important. I can share the details of that with you later on. Thank you.
I want to just say something. Thanks for listening. We have a specific program or a specific agenda for this segment of discussion. In other words, we have a moderator that will take care of this aspect of the program. So please reserve your questions, and we will take care of them. We have professionals here. A lot of people have come from various parts of the world to actually provide relevant answers to the questions of the Ijaw Diaspora Council, the Ijaw Diaspora, and Friends of the Ijaw Nation. And we have quite a number of globally acknowledged business partners and investors who will also address some of the key issues as it relates to the investment opportunities in Bayelsa. So please be patient. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you. Moving on, that was an excellent presentation about the investment opportunities in Bayelsa State. Thank you so much to my sisters and brothers that has come all the way from home to tell us about some of the opportunities that are there, to redirect some of our directions to home, and for us to contribute to those developments and investment at home. Thank you.